9,000 experiments are performed on dogs in the UK every year. The majority are on beagles, reared in intensive farming conditions by specialist dealers. The United Kingdom is a major international centre of trade in laboratory animals. Beagle puppies from the UK go all over the world. This is the story of 6 beagle puppies who made it out alive. Interfauna in Cambridgeshire is Europe's largest supplier of laboratory beagles, sending 2,500 puppies a year to their fate in laboratories all over Europe, the Middle East and Far East. The National Anti-Vivisection Society placed a worker in Toxicol Laboratories, Ledbury, Herefordshire, to investigate day-to-day laboratory life for lab animals. At Toxicol, a contract testing laboratory, dogs are used to test all manner of products for companies, from household products to agriculture, for example herbicides. Beagle pups for these tests are supplied by Interfauna. In one of the tests filmed by the NAVS, beagle pups were force-fed a herbicide which had already been animal tested and passed as safe under UK legislation, and which has been on sale for 20 years. To expose this sordid trade, the National Anti-Vivisection Society, in conjunction with the News of the World, instigated Operation Release. The objective was to investigate the activities of Interfauna and save at least one consignment of pups from their terrible fate. The NAVS and the News of the World set up a front, and Interfauna took the bait, believing it was on the brink of securing a regular order for beagles to an Italian laboratory. The sting was underway. Interfauna claims they produce approaching 1 million animals for laboratory experiments every year. Dogs, guinea pigs, rabbits, rats and mice. 2 animals for research every minute. Interfauna director Bob Coley took us to see his dog units, where hundreds of dogs were housed in metal pens on concrete floors, with no contact with the outside world. As he showed his 2 new buyers around, in reality, a News of the World reporter and director of the NAVS, Jan Creamer, a mother beagle was giving birth in a hard concrete pen. Bob Coley talked readily about how the vivisection labs demand pups of certain ages, usually between 3 and 6 months old. Each is just a number, tattooed in their ear. Meanwhile, the 6 puppies between 4 and 5 months old were being loaded by the van driver, in reality, another member of the NAVS team. Instead of making their first step on the road to death in a foreign vivisection laboratory as Interfauna believed, these 6 very, very lucky puppies were actually making their first step to freedom. Later on, cautiously and nervously, the 6 pups explored a whole new world at their overnight stop. Soft beds, toys, kind words. The next day it was time to see grass, the sun and the sky for the first time in their short lives. After 15 minutes of cautious exploration, the joy of it all took over as they raced around the garden like any other puppies. Labs often claim they cannot rehome animals even if experiments are not terminal, because the animals have been bred for life in the lab and they would not be happy in an ordinary family home. It took these pups less than 24 hours to revert to type, showing this for the lie that it is. Altogether, these pups can now expect about 60 years of happy family life, instead of just a few months of pain and suffering. The NAVS is rehoming the pups, Poppy, Jonesy, Pascal, Nat, Cleo and Eric, and is launching a campaign to highlight cruel experiments on dogs in British laboratories and the international trade in lab animals. Hello, these delightful little creatures are 6 beagle puppies which we rescued yesterday from a laboratory breeder. They were destined to be used for any number of types of experiment. They're just 6 of the 9,000 dogs used in animal laboratories in the UK every year. So they're very lucky indeed. It's the generous donations of the supporters of the National Anti-Vivisection Society that help us do this work and help us to conduct our educational campaigns and our publicity campaigns. In order to help these animals and others like them, we need your donations, especially before they chew the lead to the mic. Please send a donation today.